Welcome back to Open Window Politics. Today we're going to be doing my latest prediction for the 2024 presidential election of a matchup between Harris and Trump. We'll be going through each of these states. I've already characterized all the safe, likely, and we have the one lean congressional district in Nebraska there that is going for the Democrat, in this case Harris. But we'll be characterizing the rest of these swing states. We've got the likely states for the Republicans of Iowa, Ohio, Florida, and Texas. And then for the Democrats, we have the likely states of, it looks like we have Minnesota, Virginia, and New Hampshire and Maine, all in the likely column for the Democrats. So standing there, we have 226 electoral college votes for the Democratic candidate to 219 for the Republican. So we're just going to be going through each of these states. I'll start out on the West Coast. So I already have the three safe, reliably blue states on the actual West Coast. But then when we get to the state, here, let me add a tilt characterization. When we get to the state of Nevada, I think that generally the polls underestimate Democrats in the state. They've done quite well, reasonably well in the past. Even Clinton was able to carry it, even though she ended up losing the election at large in 2016. So I do think it'll be close though, so we're gonna give that as a tilt blue characterization. Then in the state of Arizona, however, I think that's probably going to be a slightly different story. The polls are showing that it is a little bit more competitive for the Trump campaign. He has a better shot in the state, which is about right. Generally, Arizona is a little bit to the right of Nevada. In 2020, Biden was able to win both of these states, but if the election were to be held today, I doubt that we'll see a repeat of that situation. And next up, we'll go to the state of Georgia. So in Georgia, I think this is going to probably be in the Republican column. That's going to be the second state to flip from this election prediction compared to the 2020 election. So we'll go with that characterization. And then now we'll get to the state of Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, the polls are looking pretty good for the Democratic candidate, Harris, and so we're going to give that as a lean blue rating, although it's possible the state narrows up. Actually, I'm going to go with the tilt blue. I think it's likely it could be by a little bit more of a margin, but Trump has been underestimated among some of the key voting blocks in these three Midwestern states that are really crucial to either candidate's electoral success. So I'm going to bring it from lean blue to tilt blue, but still nonetheless in the Democratic column. And then we'll be going to the state of Michigan. I think this is going to be a similar story. Michigan is generally the most blue state of we're going to give it as a tilt blue state of the three Midwestern Rust Belt states, that being Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. So we're going to give that characterization as such. So that gives us 257 electoral college votes for the Democratic candidate to 246 for the Republican. So really these two states are going to determine it all. I think that North Carolina, interestingly enough, has been a lot more competitive than it was at least according to the polling, than in recent elections. It's usually a pretty close state, but generally ends up in Republican hands. And I think that is probably going to be the case again. We'll have to see if that actually comes to fruition on election day. But if the election were to be held today, I think it'll be an uphill battle for the Democrats, although the latest news in the governor's race is definitely a positive sign for Democrats, probably all throughout the ballot. But for now, we're going to give that as a tilt red characterization. I think it will be difficult for Democrats to win this state. So right now I'm going to give it as tilt red. And then lastly, we get to state of Pennsylvania. Really, whoever wins this state will be the victor. Next to click Maryland. Really, whoever wins the state of Pennsylvania will end up being the president. So we're going to give this state, it's gone through a couple back and forth in my projections. If the election were to be held today, though, I do think the polling seems to have Harris up by a small margin. Definitely the most narrow of the three Rust Belt states. Most of the polling has her doing quite well in Wisconsin and Michigan. Comparatively well, still a swing state, still close, but the narrowest margin being in the state of Pennsylvania. And with that is definitely a very close election if Trump were to, and I think that really any of these tilt states could end up flipping. That's the nature of them being close. So if Trump is able to carry the state of, well, I guess he has a couple paths. If he were to flip the state of Pennsylvania, that would be enough to grant electoral success, or he could flip Nevada if things were going well enough, or the states of Michigan and Wisconsin. But I do think that his most likely path to victory is going through the state of Pennsylvania, winning the key states of Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania, as well as Arizona, as well as just the core Republican states that are going to account for a significant amount of electoral votes, but not quite enough. So with that gives Vice President Harris 276 electoral college votes. And well, feel free to let me know if you have any questions or any insights or something about my prediction. I'd be happy to hear them. Feel free to let me know if you have any questions. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.